Hey everybody. So today I got hooked into, as many of us did, into all of these panicky feelings in the heart of this panic-demic. And very real feelings, and very confusing feelings. And then I would be exposed to people, writing kind of what I call new cage aphorisms or memes online, sort of trivializing it or talking about how really it's all an illusion or just a story, and that all we have to do is kind of turn it around and that'll be the end of it. And perpetual positivity stuff, and just really all the stuff that I've been writing against for so many years. And I think it's incredibly obvious to me now, just how dangerous those messages are. So in the heart of it, I started to feel kind of hopeless, and like I forgot why I'm here. I forgot what calls me. I forgot what my sacred purpose is. I forgot everything I've been writing about for years. And so I decided to pick up my book, Grounded Spirituality, my last book, almost as though I was reading it as an objective observer or as somebody who hadn't written it, at least, to try to be reminded of what I believed, and of why it matters that we ground ourselves in this experience. I mean, if it's incredibly difficult, you have to do whatever you can, including bypassing, in order to comfort yourself. But if you're able to be here for this experience and to move the feelings rather than holding the feelings, to move the anger, to move the tears, to allow yourselves to grieve this moment, it can be incredibly helpful, because the last thing you want to do in the heart of this experience is to be holding on to all kinds of toxic emotions and feelings, particularly since this brings up all kinds of old stuff, right? I mean, anybody who's had any kind of a trauma history, fear of attack, just the feeling that this thing is creeping through the streets looking for me, all of those, and it isn't, and it will be contained, and I know that to be true. But I understand those feelings. So I started to read my book, some parts from it, and it helped me. So I want to read some parts to you that might help you too right now. So this is from the call to action section at the very end of the book. After I wrote the book, I just wanted to invite everybody to get grounded in their spirituality, like to get here, not to be dissociative, not to participate in patriarchal spiritual practices where we pretend that the world is an illusion, that our feelings don't matter, and that our stories aren't real, that our egos need to be destroyed and dismembered, all of this absolute nonsense. There's nothing more obvious right now than the importance of us being here to deal with this in a real way on every level. The ones who are going to dissociate are the ones who are going to put themselves and everybody else at risk by pretending this isn't happening. So this is a perfect example of why enrealment or grounded spirituality matters. So let me just read this part to you, in the hopes that it ignites and inspires you. The path of re-embodiment, because that's what this is, right? Coming into our bodies and being here for this, is a champion's path. It's rugged and rigorous and riddled with resistance. You need to know this so that you don't turn back when the going gets tough. You need to know this so you preserve it and protect it at all costs. You are the guardian of your sacred purpose. You must defend it with your life. Because the journey is going to bring up everything. It's going to bring you face to face with every tangled trauma knot, with every self-imposed limitation, with every adaptation and disguise that has covered over your deepest truths. And yet there is no choice but to walk it. You will not be able to act in the challenging times that are upon us unless you are acting from the heart of the unified field. Let me reread that. You will not be able to act in the challenging times that are upon us unless you are acting from the heart of the unified field. Before we can co-create a world of sacred possibility, we must become that too. We must get here. If we aren't here, we won't see the ways we are being cradled into a half-hearted slumber. We won't see the paths that beckon us toward fulfilling our own uniquely encoded soul scriptures. We won't see the map to collective transformation and connective healing. We won't see what's happening in the world and feel inspired to do something about it. We won't see our species through to its heartfelt actualization. We need you. Yes, you, the one who is hearing these words. We need your unique blueprint, your one-of-a-kind gifts, Don't for one moment imagine yourself insignificant or not essential. We need your spirit, your authenticity, your intuition, your capacity for connection, your personally nuanced expression. We need your re-embodiment, your devotion, your reverence for sacred purpose. We need your passion, your bravery, your determination. We need your tender, quiet, subtle listening. We need your ferociousness, because it is only the fires of our conviction that can save our species from its own trappings. The form your offering will take depends on the nature of your unique purpose. It's a personal road to discovery. Your sacred purpose may be subtle and calm, gently recalibrating your steps, showing its face in your day-to-day micro choices. Or it may be the fiery path of the activist, a visible force in this world. It may be the path of the vanguard on the front lines, or the humble servant in the background. It is for you to find that point of sacred balance, whether your purpose is subtly winding in the quieted recesses of your heart, or fiercely roaring like a lion, or a combination of many faces through the shifting and changing stages of your journey. Whatever expression your sacred purpose takes, it's essential in co-creating the magnificent world that we all long for. So simply put, right now, we need you, not generic you, not dissociating you, not armored you, but the you that is connected to all the gifts and offerings that you brought into this world. We need you desperately right now. We need your groundedness. We need your capacity for true presence, not disembodied presence, not witness observer presence, inside of your experience, inside of this life, inside of what we're going through in an effort to actually affect change. I want to read one other part to you that I think is also relevant. So in the Conversations, there's a chapter called the New Cage Movement with Michael, where he's kind of spewing kind of all these like ungrounded New Age aphorisms, and I respond to them. And I think it's quite relevant in this moment, a couple of paragraphs. So he says, "That's fair, Jeff, but there are many situations where suffering is a gift. I do believe that I chose certain experiences and relationships because I needed to learn specific lessons. I've seen this in many others as well." So I respond, "Sure you did, but not always. Let's keep it grounded. Everything is not a gift. There may be valuable transformation that arises from many experiences, but that doesn't mean that every experience is a gift. If we lean too far in that direction, we will deny trauma and victimhood and reality altogether, something we've already been doing for centuries. Some experiences are horrors, and it is all we can do to heal from them, and I would add to protect ourselves from them. To suggest that someone must find the gift in them is to add insult to injury. It is also to create a culture that welcomes all horrors, because after all, everything is a gift. Let's keep it real. Sometimes it's a gift, and sometimes it's a horror. And the only one who can decide that is the person who's had the experience." Shortly thereafter, he says, "But in the great cosmic order of things, everything happens for a reason." And I respond, not so. The everything happens for a reason mantra emerged as a necessary counterbalance to the idea that we are always victims in situations. Sometimes we do play a role in what's been manifest. And as you implied, often in those circumstances, it is our unconscious patterns and beliefs that are doing the choosing. But like all polarized mantras, it goes too far in one direction and ignores situations where suffering is needless. Yes, everything happens for a reason, but it's not always a good one. There's always some degree of misguided action on this planet. Since we can't determine why something happened to someone else, it's always better to come from a place of compassion when confronted with a person's or a world's hardship. Let them decide if the reason was a good one. Let them decide if it was a gift. This part as well. Blanket statements like "you are exactly where you're supposed to be, no matter what someone's life circumstances and challenges," have become hollow, empty platitudes. Yes, there's no question we can often learn something of value wherever we are on the path. And yes, we may have, in some situations, attracted the exact challenge that we need to grow, but that does not imply that we are always where we are supposed to be, or that we chose our every reality. Sometimes we need a kick in the ass, And sometimes we are just a victim of terrible circumstances. Sometimes our suffering is needless and the result of other people's wrongdoing. Compassion demands that we hold the space for each other's challenges with a wide open heart. Let each person decide if they're exactly where they're supposed to be. You think about this notion that everything is a gift, how preposterous that is in a moment like this. There may be some gifts for some individuals, there may be some growth and development that happens individually or collectively, but in this moment, that is not the response. The response is to confront the challenge in a grounded, sensible manner, to deal with it, and at the same time, while dealing with it, to do your best to stay connected to who you are on a more profound and deeply connected to your own purpose level, so that you're here on earth staring this challenge in the face and handling it with maturity and taking good care of yourself and those around you and all the rest of us, and at the same time not getting so swallowed up in the darkness that you can't actually put your best foot forward and remember why you're here on all kinds of other levels. So for me, it's all of that has to be happening at one time. And if we swing too far in the direction of one of those polarities, we absolutely lose our way. So I guess my message to you, all of you, is to remember who you are and why you're here. Um, don't lose sight of that in the heart of this. And at the same time, take absolutely good care to shield yourself and shield our world from this craziness. This will pass soon. And what will be left of us is our callings and our offerings to continue to bring us forward.